Hey guys, it's Hansol here, and welcome to my Fire Mage Subtlety Rogue 2v2 guide. I've been queuing tons of 2s, as you may have known. I've been queuing tons of arenas in general, but yeah, lately I've been really just loving 2s. I know there's like no special rewards for it. People have been asking me why I enjoy queuing them so much, because they're like, can you even get Gladiator or rank 1 from them anymore? Which you can't. There's no cool rewards, but just like the mere process of coordinating CC and synergizing to land kills with my rogue versus all these healer DPS teams that are infested over the 2s ladder. The way that we even land these kills, it's just so rewarding emotionally, or just it spikes dopamine in my brain. It's just super fun for me. I mean, it doesn't even always have to be about the rewards. I just genuinely enjoy the process. So yeah, we were able to get to 2400 MMR, 2350 CR. We've tanked down, a little bit. We go up and down a lot. I mean, we have good sessions and bad sessions, obviously. So yeah, it's pretty challenging. But for the most part, Fire Mage Subtlety Rogue feels like a pretty strong comp. There's some comps out there that are nearly impossible to beat when good players are playing them against us. But yeah, I think Nomads and I have gotten it down to a pretty good strat. Like I said, to pull off some of these wins, you have to have some tight-ass synergy, like tight as a pussy, man. Like, no mistakes, because these healer DPS teams can actually afford to make mistakes, but us, we can't, because we just die, because we don't have a healer on our side. I'm going to go over every little nuance, every concept of the comp that you need to know in order to succeed with it at higher ratings. Every game that's shown in this video will be 2.1k MMR to 2.3 or even 2.4k MMR gameplay. If anything, like 2050 lowest, which was like early on during our queue sessions. And yeah, I'll be going over pretty much setups, the way we coordinate our CC, the way we land our kills, the way we survive, how we should kite, the way we should rotate our cooldowns, positioning, pretty much everything you need to know. So hopefully you enjoy the video, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so first game we got here, a Ret Paladin and a Disc Priest. And our strat here pretty much is to just land CC on the healer while we burst down the Ret in a stun. So in order to land CC on the Priest, in the opener we're actually going to get Nomads to sap him. But later on in the game I'm going to get him to cheap shot the Priest or kidney him into sheeps, because it's easier to avoid the sheeps as a healer when they're not stunned. So it's better to stun them first. So yeah, Nomads right here is going to land a sap on the healer. I'm going to spell steal the power word shield off the Pally. The cheap shot is going to land. I'm going to pop my combust, pop all my bursts on this Paladin, but at the same time making sure that I'm going to land a re-poly into the sap on the Priest, into a third poly as well, while I burst this Paladin down into a Dragon's Breath. And because of all that CC, we're going to force the Paladin's bubble here. And since we have forced the bubble, what we're going to do here now is run away, because if we stay in there as a double DPS, we will die, because the Paladin has his wings up and stuff too. So we're going to try to survive in between. So what I'm going to do is spam poly this Ret, Juke is Rebuke, Sheep is Trinket, Sheep is Dispel until our next stun DRs are up on the Priest, so then we can go with a poly again. Because without CC in this comp, we're not going to kill anything. So now that DRs are up, Nomads is going to land a kidney on the Priest and cheap shot on the Pally. I'm going to sheep off that kidney. The Priest does get PS off there while he was kidneyed, but we're just bursting through it. I'm going to re-poly off that first one. The Pally does bop defensively, so I spell steal that into a double Dragon's Breath. So Nomads is going to half blind, which the Priest does trinket, and I missed my Blood Elf Silence there, but I'm going to trinket and lock the Priest on Shadow right there, his Shadow Man, and just keep pumping out damage. At this point we could run, but since I locked him, we're going to just keep going. Nomads kicks the Priest again into a kidney, and we're just going to finish off the game right here. And pretty much, as you can see, the main concept is to land CC on the healer with stuns into sheeps while we burst the Paladin down, and we have to go through all their cooldowns before we win the game. So that means double trinkets from each side, pain suppression, and the bubble from the Pally. And every time we go, we need to force a cooldown. If we don't force something every time we go, we pretty much fall behind and ultimately lose the game. But this was a very successful game, as you could see, because our first open, we got bubble, then we got PS and double trinkets on the second go, which was a lot. So this next game is a pure example of just how much CC or rogue can do. And how much it can just help you win the game. So Nomads is going to land a sap here and cheap shot the lock. We're going to burst the lock through his shield right now. I'm going to try to resheep, but I do get locked out, so Nomads just saps again by himself. We get double feared. We're both going to trinket that to keep bursting. He's going to follow that up with a kidney shot into a blind as well as his lock drops, which forces the shaman to trinket. He's going to try to line aside and cast some heals, but what I'm going to do here is actually blink into his line, lock him out, and just finish up the lock. That shaman thought he could get that heal off, so he wasn't linking. but because of the Shimmer lockouts, won us the game. But as you can see, Nomad's pretty much forced the Shaman's Trinket by himself, and we went through all the Lock's defensives just like that. So it can really be good for your rogue sometimes to just focus on CCing as you do the damage. So in this next game, I'm actually going to skip into the part where we've already pretty much forced all their cooldowns. We've got both their trinkets and also pain suppression from the priest. And this is where we just finished our setup. So right now, we're now in trouble. He's dipping down to about 60% right here. So now that we've actually forced all their cooldowns, what we need to do is survive. This is the part where you really need to get down, because sure, you could be amazing at bursting and opening, but if you don't know how to survive in between your setups, you're a goner. So right here, what I'm actually going to do is tell Nomads to run and spam sheep the Demon Hunter. He has no kick right now, so I can just spam sheep him, spell steal his shield off for my own protection as Nomads goes behind the pillar and tries to eat. I'm going to sheep for a second time and even a third time, and the priest doesn't have a dispel because he already dispelled earlier. And I'm just going to kite away as Nomads eats. So what I'm going to do to kite right here, I'm actually going to pop my Temporal Shield right as the Demon Hunter is able to reach me. So that way all the damage he does to me will be healed back once the Temporal Shield expires. So pretty much this is all about stalling until we can set up again. My Temporal Shield does proc and heal me back, and now I'm going to Dragon's Breath the Demon Hunter off me. As you can see, triple polys into Temporal Shield, into Dragon's Breath, into Nova. It's just pretty much all you can do to survive. Nomads is pretty much near full HP right now, so you see him crawling back to the fight. He's going to kidney shot the priest, cheap shot the Demon Hunter. I'm going to land a sheep on the priest and just pump all my pyros into this Demon Hunter. Try to sheep again as always. Make sure to always follow up your CC. Sheep for one last time, but I do get kicked on that, so Nomads blinds instead and we finish the game. That game was just a prime example of surviving in between setups. Say we go for like a cheap shot sheep on the healer, and the DRs, it takes 20 seconds for the DRs to fall off. So that means we need to live 20 seconds. So if you're able to spam polys onto the DPS and live with Temporal Shield, Nova's, Dragon's Breath till the next setup, you're in good hands. But yeah, that could be hard when the healer is dispelling those CCs. So it's really important to spam those CCs and survive. So yeah, pretty much just rotating your defenses, whether it's Temporal Shield, Blinks, your CC like Dragons with Polymorphs, onto the DPS as you survive till the next setup is available. And that means even using your Ice Block if you have to, but obviously saving it for later setups is very crucial, because you're never going to be able to kill a team on the first setup unless they make a mistake or they're just bad. Alright, so this next game is just another good example of forcing cooldowns with our opener, surviving in between the setup, and going again and winning the game. Just a regular game. I feel like the enemy does mess up a little bit in this game, the enemy team, which we do capitalize on. For this opener, actually, instead of opening with a sap, we're actually going to open with a cheap shot into a sheep. There's obviously many alternative openers you can do with this comp. Both have their pros and cons, but with this, it allows Nomads to already be on the target with a stun when the poly lands, whereas if we sap first, it takes time for him to reach the target. The only downside is that we can't follow up this chain with a kidney later on because he's already cheap shotted to open with. Right here, as he lands the cheap shot, the warrior's going to Stormbolt me, which I instantly trinket to guarantee land the poly on the shaman. I blink out of line, land the polymorph. Noman's going to kidney the warrior. I'm going to drop a meteor with my combust and just pump a lot of damage into him. I guess the warrior gets scared and trinkets the kidney a little bit late right there and to fear me to survive. Shaman actually trinkets there as well and links. Like, these guys are really scared of the mage rogue opener, you know? So right here, we've actually forced both their trinkets and Spirit Link. We forced 3/4 of their defensive cooldown. So all we have to do now is survive till the next setup. So I'm actually gonna, get Nomads to run as I poly this warrior. I'm gonna Dragon's Breath him, just blink away, spam poly on this warrior as much as possible. The DRs on the shaman are coming off, so I'm going to actually lock his heal right here. I'm going to get Nomads to kidney shot the shaman for me so I can land a sheep so he can't line of sight me or shear me or ground me. This sheep does land. Cheap shot goes onto the warrior. Here comes the big pirate into that warrior's face. I just got to make sure I can re-sheep off this one. The warrior charges me to pummel me, but I blink away during that polycast to land it. Nomads is going to follow that up with a early blind. The warrior pops reflect and dive with a sword. He tries his heart out to survive right now, but I'm actually going to Dragon's Breath the shaman, DR'd off that blind into a Blood of Silence, into a kidney, and just finish the game. Alright, so this next team, they're both running Relentless. So if you don't know what Relentless is, it's pretty much the honor talent that you can choose that replaces the medallion trinket to get out of CC. It replaces that, but it reduces all incoming CC duration effects on you by 25%. So my polymorphs will be 25% shorter on the priest. And then the shaman is relentless, and he's an orc as well, so he gets that orc racial, the passive called hardiness, which actually reduces the stun effects by 20%. So they're stacking that with relentless, which makes it super hard to keep the kill target stationary, and also the CC on the healer is shorter, so which gives us shorter time to land a kill. Right here we pretty much have gotten, you know, a setup already. Maybe this is like our second setup, I think, but we haven't forced anything yet. I think we forced like shaman's defenses, but I mean, this is just hard. We're in so much trouble right here. I'm forced to block. My rogue is going to run a little bit. I'm getting MD'd out of this ice block. I'm going to double Dragon's Breath them and sheep the shaman while running with icy flows and blink away, line of sight, and start bandaging until our next setup. We have like not much time to go. I'm going to Nova this priest. Noman's is going to go land that kidney. It's a little shorter. I'm going to land a sheep. Noman's is going to cheap shot the shaman. Perfect timing right before he's about to shear me on that sheep. Really good cheap shot by him. I'm going to land it. Pop my combust. This is my burst right now. I already popped my burst on the first opener, so this means we've already survived for a very long time since combust is back up already. I'm going to sheep for the second time. Maybe one more as I pop damage right here, and I'm actually gonna temporal shield the shaman's counter pressure right now because he's just trying to finish me off. I don't have block. I don't really have much right now, so he's just actually gonna burst into my temporal shield. No man's blinds the priest. I'm so close to dying. I'm gonna cancel or attempt to heal myself back into a blood of silence on the priest and kill the shaman. Wow, that was an intense game. That was really, really close. Like, if I didn't press that temp right exactly at the time, I pretty much would have lost the game for us. If I didn't kite when I needed to near the end when I got MD'd, we would have lost. And if we didn't get those triple polys into blinds with the kidney on the priest, we actually would have lost as well. So just the ending of that game was very crucial that we executed everything we need to perfectly. Like, if No Man's cheap shot was just 0.5 seconds off, he might have been able to shear me, which means we would have lost because I can't temp when locked out of Arcane. If No Man's didn't follow up that blind perfect timing, maybe he could have got a bubble off and that we wouldn't have had enough damage. If maybe I didn't get that Blood of Silence near the end, we would have lost. So everything happened perfectly. Next game, we're fighting against Frost Mage Disc Priest. And although the enemy mage doesn't block, he makes a mistake and dies without blocking, you know, happens to me all the time. Aside from that, though, we made some really good plays here that will just serve as really good examples for you. So I'm going to show it anyways. So right here, No Man's is going to go for the sap, but unfortunately, you know, I think it's bugged or something, or we're getting combat, so he can't sap. So he's just going to go for the cheap shot on the priest right here as I get my power proc. But this is really important. Look here, what I'm actually going to do to land this poly is to blink with ice flows cast while running polymorph to land the sheep on the priest behind the pillar so the mage can't counterspell me. Positioning when landing polys is really, really important, especially versus ranged, so you can get free ones off without having to go through counter spells and stuff like that. So the mage is kidneyed right here. He's going to come out of it. We're just pumping damage into him. I'm going to start casting another polymorph and stop casting it to juke his counterspell and land one anyways. So just outplaying this mage for days right now. Pumping my fireballs and pyroblast. One more sheep right there into a blind, which the priest is actually going to trinket. And I'm going to double Dragon's Breath DR into a Blood of Silence. My rogue right now is feared. He's coming out of it. He's going to step to the priest to cheap shot him, and we're just going to finish off the game without him blocking. And although, like I said, he made a mistake, that was just really good on my part with the positioning and also juking CS to line that CC with even little CC at the end, like the little DR Dragon's Breath, little Blood of Silence. You know, it really all does add up. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, so much damage. So much fucking damage. So much fucking damage. Oh. Alright, next game we got Demon Hunter Discipline Priest, okay? So what No Man's going to do is quickly just sap the Demon Hunter right here, right as he Spectral Sights, so he can't knock us out because, you know, Demon Hunters can do that. And then now he's going to run to sap the Priest, which he lands, so I'm going to Spell Steal the bubble off the Demon Hunter so he can't absorb our pressure. I'm going to blink over to the Priest to resheep off that sap as the kidney lands on the Demon Hunter, which the Demon Hunter trinkets, and the Priest also trinkets the DR Poly to PS his Demon Hunter. So we literally just force everything in this opener. No Man's is going to blind the Priest trinket as we continue to pump pressure as the pain suppression ends on the Demon Hunter. They're in big trouble right now. Unfortunately, my poly is actually DR'd, so I can't cheat the priest right now. But No Man's is actually going to step over to kidney the priest instead. My poly DR is going to end soon. I'm trying to make it over there. Instead of sheeping though, because I know I'm not going to get it off, I'm going to actually Blood Elf Silence him right here. Start casting a poly. He's going to try to run off to avoid it, but I chase him with Icy Flows, cast while running, landed anyways, and we win the game. And oh my god, that just shows you the power of Blood Elf Silence with Icy Flows. Like right there, if I didn't have Blood Elf Silence, he could have maybe feared me. Maybe he could have just got a shield on the Demon Hunter or something like that. But instead, he silenced for 2 seconds, which gives me the perfect amount of time to land a poly if I'm not on a global cooldown. Amazing, amazing. I'm addicted to being a Blood Elf now. I mean, I'm a very aggressive player, so this race just perfectly fits my playstyle. So before we wrap up here, I just want to go over one last game, which is actually a loss. I just want to go over the importance of actually setting up as soon as possible once DRs fall off. You should always be going. Obviously, you want to survive because that's the main priority, but you should always be going because you're pretty much on a timer with these games. Since you're running double DPS, we don't have a healer on our team, so we have to go, go, go. So right here, we actually come out of a setup. We force the priest trinket, and now we're just trying to live until the next setup for our DRs to come off. So No Man's is going to run and try to eat and get a re-stealth, while I just sit here and spam poly the warrior and try to survive. I mess up and actually don't use Temporal Shield because the priest is off DRs right now. We should actually be going, but No Man's is taking a while to get here, so I'm kind of like getting tilted right now, waiting for No Man's to go. I'm actually forced to Ice Block. No Man's is coming out of the gate right now, but instead of going straight for the priest to cheap shot him, he ends up walking around this whole pillar, which takes an extra 5 seconds. So I actually get emptied out of the block. No Man's is trying to land that cheap shot, but the priest is just now lining him as I'm stuck in a Stormbolt. Finally, the cheap shot lands, and the kidney goes on the warrior to peel to counter pressure, but it seems like it's a little too late, and we end up losing anyways. As you could see, No Man's could have gone and landed that cheap shot as he ended and exited the gate, but instead of going straight to him, he goes around the pillar, which wastes a lot of time, and we end up losing. And 5 to 10 seconds can just be really crucial with this comp. Like I said earlier, I could have temped instead, but I was just really hoping for a setup to come there, and we end up losing. So yeah, make sure to set up as soon as possible when you can, because that moment won't always be there forever. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. Just to recap though real quick, make sure to run Icy Flows to run while casting those polys. Very, very nice for landing polys, really helps you out. Coordinate that burst with your rogue, force cooldowns, run in between the setups, make sure to survive, polymorph that DPS, peel for your rogue, let him go reset and eat if he has to. Use your Temporal Shield and Dragon's Breath sufficiently. Make sure you're landing those polys off those cheap shot kidneys on the healer when you're going. Watch your positioning. Spell steal important stuff like power word shields. And yeah, make sure to incorporate your Blood Elf silences in between if you're a Blood Elf. But yeah, if this guide helped you out, please leave a thumbs up down below to let me know it's helped. That way I can pump more of these videos out. And also check out my last video. I posted raw 2v2 gameplay with No Man's. If you watched it already, maybe watch it again, because maybe it'll help you understand what's going on a little bit more after watching this one. If you'd like more raw gameplay, I can actually post more as well. Anyways, thanks for watching guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Keep burning shit.